Black Women Rising UK. Like, you know, you're one of the ambassadors of that, yeah? Like, can we speak about that, you know, a little bit more?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. Like, what is that all about, you know, for the people that are watching? Like, what is it all about? And, yeah.
So I guess the main thing to kick off with is that I actually had cancer a few years ago. So I was diagnosed with a myxoid liposarcoma, which is hardened fatty cells that became cancerous over time on my hip. And as somebody who was very much into like running, lifting weights, eating what are perceived as the right things, to be in a position where I'd now been diagnosed with cancer it was hard to reconcile in my head, because how do I do all the right things and still end up in this position? Cancer is a very isolating journey, and I think I was just looking for my tribe, and they found me. So their page popped up, and then I reached out, and I was just like, hey, I've been diagnosed with cancer, not really sure what to do. And then they started to send me some really like nice materials that were relevant for me, because all of the literature that I was seeing was middle-aged white people. And at the time I was diagnosed, I think I was 33 or 34 when I was diagnosed. And it was really difficult to understand why this was happening to me and what changes I would experience as a Black woman. And then I realized that I needed to become the voice that I didn't have, and have the tribe that I didn't be the tribe that I didn't have when I was going through like that season of my life, to kind of navigate it, because you have your friends, you have your family, and this is not on anyone's, it's not no one's fault, but it's very much your friends and your family can't necessarily relate to you the same way somebody who's been in that position can. And then from then, when I was on the other side of it, so I've been cancer-free for 3 years now.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I decided that I wanted to try and make a difference, like use my story to impact others and be that light for them, because I didn't necessarily have that. The tribe that I had was Black Women Rising, and it was my way of wanting to give back.
Because even with what you said, yeah, like you said, sometimes we go through certain things, innit? And sometimes our friends, close people to us, might not be able to relate to us, innit? And we might need to go outside and find, like you said, in our tribe, people that actually can relate to exactly what we're going through, innit? You know, so even talking about just like your mental health aspect of things, yeah, you know, like when you was going through, like, you know, your cancer treatment and all of that, how did you get through, how did you get through that process in terms of like keeping, you know, like your mental health to a certain degree, like keeping, you can't understand, like, how did you go through that process?
The grace of God, you know, I can't lie. It's still very triggering now. The mental battles that you have to go through, they go way beyond like the physical ones you have to endure. And if you are obviously like fortunate to be on the good side of a prognosis where the evidence of the disease is gone, you still have to you have a lot of questions. Like I've always had a lot of questions. Like how did we get here? How exactly did this happen? I just had like my most recent scans and meeting with my consultant yesterday. And even in that scenario, I'm still very triggered by the idea of going to the hospital, because it's like revisiting it. So mentally, that's a battle that I have to overcome every 6 months. It's really difficult, but when you are focused on like just continuing to pour into yourself, when you're focused on like managing what you can and leaving the things that you can't control, just like let them go. I know that I really struggled with the control aspect, because this was out of my hands. I'm very like together normally. I'm very, very together, very organized, and it threw the spanner in like the works of my life. So I had to learn how to let go of things, like do the things that I could. I was still trying to lift really heavy weights when I was having treatment, and that just put me in a worse position. I ended up in hospital for something completely separate.
Even like on a quick one, what made you like, obviously you love what you was doing before anyway, but usually from what I understand, when people are going through like, you know, such thing as that, they kind of like put certain things on pause. Like for you, what made you still continue to lift up weights?
It was more mental.
Okay.
But I was in denial that my body wasn't like what it was before I had cancer. So I had to mourn and had to grieve my pre-cancer body. And I had to give it some grace, because it was going through a battering at that time, because I had to have radiotherapy, and then I also had to have surgery to remove the tumour. And I was very angry at my body for not being able to do the things that it could do before. So I put a lot of pressure on myself mentally, but I also felt like it was the only thing I could control. So I could dictate what weights I wanted to lift, and nobody could tell me that you shouldn't lift those weights. And my brothers told me I should stop lifting that amount of weight, and I ignored it, and then it just put me in a worse position. So I was doing it more for mental and just to keep the momentum. And I'm glad I did, to be honest.
You're glad?
I am.
Okay.
I felt like I needed to give myself grace. So because of the stuff I do around fitness, I feel like I'm able to tell people, actually, you have to give yourself grace on this journey and accept that actually the body that you have during cancer treatment is going to be very, very different to the body you knew before. So you have to learn to love that version of yourself, learn to nurture that version of yourself, and maybe find ways to sort of navigate what fitness looks like for you in that season of your life as well.
I always say to people nowadays, I think I even said this to him.